Lee, thanks for joining us. First of all, I just want to get your reaction. Obviously, we spoke to some of the players and Ryan after Tuesday night about the win and about the youngsters who helped the team to get to the knockout stages of the Football League trophy.
Yeah, really pleasing evening, wasn't it? So many young players on the pitch, 5 debuts. Really pleasing for us. It's really interesting to see how the younger players deal with the occasion. They were playing against a good team, by the way. Plenty of first team players on that pitch. So a real pleasing evening. And what it'll do, it can kickstart one or two of them players. It can really push them forward. Gives them an appetite for what can be had with lots of hard work and dedication towards what they're doing. But a really pleasing evening, and it's pleasing I always think for the supporters to have a look at our younger players, particularly in that environment. I have my own opinion about 21 games. I think that's a real step up in level in terms of intensity, concentration. But no, really pleasing and some really good performances out there.
There's still a lot of hard work for those youngsters to keep progressing, and you've been there as many other players who in the football club have been there and done it from the academy level. But it does show again that all the coaching that they're given, it's bearing fruit, the academy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I won't hear different about the academy. It must be really pleasing for all the academy staff that work with these players throughout the years to see it, all the hard work the lads put in with them during the evenings and weekends, and it's a reward for them as well to see that all the hard work. The traits of what you're trying to coach them are certainly there in terms of players being able to handle the ball and being brave to get on the ball under pressure. So all the work the staff and the coaches are doing with these players as they're coming through, it's pleasing that I'm pretty sure they could see the elements of a training session coming out with some of them players. But we're a thriving academy. We're still producing within the Football League higher numbers than what we should be doing, competing against Premier League teams. So it's very much on the up.
Just before we look at the weekend's game that's coming up and talk about injuries, where you are with that, it's just interesting that I thought I'd have a little chat with you and get your views on it. We're pretty all in the game and been at it a long time, and we know it's a hard job being a referee or an assistant, but it seems like you can get a lot of inconsistency in their performance. One area they seem to be consistent with is the kicking the ball away, and you've got one or two players who've totted up yellow cards through that this season. Your reaction to that, and does it get you worked up that they're getting booked, like that?
Well, they're unnecessary yellow cards, aren't they? And what I would say, there's some adjustment from the players. You watch the top level and they kick the ball. It's just something that's been done forever and a day in football. So there's some adjustment that comes with the players with that. The real frustrating thing is when it happens, particularly earlier on in the game, it can change how a player has to play. It can change your thought processes from the sideline in terms of, do we have to take this player off because they're running the risk of being sent off? I think it's just players adjusting, and I think it's not an easy way out of what I'm saying. It is frustrating, just because it can affect their games. Players get yellow cards for whatever reason, but I think it's about players adjusting their mindset in terms of the temptation. Sometimes they're good yellow cards, sometimes they can be good yellow cards, but the temptation to stop what's going on, and then that's from us as well on the sideline. When players do get yellow cards for these things, we've been briefed, we've been told we can't have any arguments with the fourth official on the side. So I think it's just about a little bit of an adjustment. I think we have seen a little bit more leeway with these type of things happening as the season's going on, like we did with the minutes being added on. So it's just about everybody adjusting a little bit.
Well, let's look ahead then, and it wouldn't be Thursday without first of all talking about an injury update, if you can give to the supporters about one or two of your players. Yeah,
so Jack Powell will be getting these final testing done in terms of strength, which is really pleasing. He's been with the group over the last week now. We'll look to get him some minutes in 10 days' time for the 21s, which is really good. So he's going to be somewhere near. That doesn't mean we're going to be throwing Jack Powell in straight into the first team. Matty Palmer, who plays for Notts County, a friend of mine, and he had the same injury, and it just you have to integrate him back into the team, so don't have that expectation. I've seen Jack starting football matches. It's about us looking after him and reintegrating him into the team. Omar's doing well, really well, looks sharp, looks good. So again, we'll assess that to the weekend in terms of what decision we're looking to make. CT will rejoin the group next week, which is good. And again, it's up to us to come up with a revised appropriate plan to keep him on the pitch, which we will do. Longy will be the week after that. So we're getting somewhere near with it, and then it's trying to avoid the temptation sometimes of what you'd want to do as a manager in terms of giving them minutes. We're going to have to be mindful that we don't want them to get re-injured.
Well, last weekend you dispatched the then league leaders in Gillingham with a fine performance. Now you're heading off to the Eco Power Stadium. It's 8th versus 4th again. It's another big game, and for the supporters, they'll never forget that memorable night in May. But for you and your staff, it's all about Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you know, they've brought in plenty of players. We brought in plenty of players, so it's two different looking teams going up against each other. The bearing of what happened last season, you know, I'm not sure Grant and myself are going on about it. Like I say, it's two completely different teams. We highly respect them. I think they're a really good team. I like Grant as a fella. I think he's a top guy. So it'll be an interesting game, and we had some good battles against them last year.
They're expecting a cranked up atmosphere as well from their supporters for your players to play in.
I just think they're a well-supported team, aren't they? Their team are doing well, and when their team's doing well, like every club, you get more supporters coming, and the expectation level of what you're producing on the pitch goes up. So with them doing so well in the league and how well fancied they are, I'd expect them to have a good crowd anyway.